Welcome back. My name is Candace Sanderson, and today's episode is Let Your Curiosity Soar. It's a spinoff from a couple of questions asked by Dan in our Monroe Institute group on WhatsApp. Dan asks us about curiosity and how to foster that. He uses the example of a significant first-time experience. And the example he used, I loved, was like tasting chocolate. It's easy, and perhaps there's this natural tendency to really cling to that experience, to dwell on that first embrace. This is actually true whether it's the taste of chocolate or slipping into an out-of-body experience in the non-physical realms. We are so eager to share these magical events with others. But before we realize it, we're stuck in this pattern of telling the same story, time after time, day after day. Dan says we need to let go of these first-time experiences. It's not so much that we need to let go, but if and when we do, there is such great benefit. Let's look at what happens when we move on from these first-time events. When we become attached to a specific event, it seems like it just takes over our lives. Before long, we realize it defines us. But we are not the experience. We are the presence who experienced the event. That's a huge difference, and we can use that to grow. As great as this event was, it can be even greater. So why stay stuck? Let's move forward. Once we move, whether we see it as forward, upward, or actually inward, our creative nature reveals the value of this growth. As we slip across new thresholds, we just might discover a brand new world just waiting for us to explore. No doubt, of course, these experiences are special and often unforgettable. But instead of dwelling on that one magical moment and getting stuck in a never-ending loop, I ask you to try something. Ask a question. Ask, what if? These what if ideas, thoughts, and questions are like helium balloons. Although each one is important and moves you and literally enlightens you, their cumulative effect is so powerful. I want you to imagine yourself standing and holding a giant bouquet of helium balloons. You add one balloon at a time, and eventually something happens. You reach a point, a tipping point, and you lift off. And as you begin to soar, your perspective changes. You view life through a larger lens. Those what if questions can propel you to new heights and places. We can ride the currents of these thoughts and let our imagination soar. And the more distance we put between us and our 3D environment that is so dense and heavy, the easier it is to soar. From our new perspective, as we look below, we marvel at the landscape. It has changed so much. Eventually, it is just a blur, waiting for us to fill in the details with brand new information. It's a fresh start. When we look down at our lives from this higher perspective, we realize something important. The higher we go, the smaller our 3D self becomes. I can see it now. As I float higher and higher above the earth, the little old me on earth shrinks. I can even see that little old me waving its tiny little arm back at me. Back at me? Oh, yeah. The me who is observing sees this, all of it. Those what if questions allow our observer to awaken. Those questions give our observer permission to take charge and play. This is important because it is the observer, according to my messengers, who link the 3D to the 5D. The observer is that bridge that connects the physical with the non physical. I've heard so many people say that they can't have out of body experiences, but my messengers say that's nonsense. You do it every day. Well, we do it at night when we dream, that's for sure. But quite often during the day, you might notice your observer. He or she might just chime in on what you're doing or how you're doing it. Next time this happens, I ask you to stop, to pause what you're doing and realize when you hear that observer, you've just taken that first step in connecting to the non-physical realms. Who is that observer? It's you. It's part of you, an aspect of you, but it takes a different form. The messengers have talked about the POE, point of existence. It is your awareness. Most of us think that our point of existence is this tiny, isolated, actually, it's a particle state that is usually so comfortable in staying deep within our physical bodies that many of us think that we are our physical bodies. No, that point of existence, that awareness is now transforming because of the observer into a wave form. It is expanding into that field of energy that surrounds us. So, yes, celebrate when you recognize your observer. Know that it is often a first step in connecting to that field of consciousness where everything is connected. Those non physical realms have no limitations. Let's look how to get there. One way is by embracing this curiosity that leads us in life. Scientists use it every day, but it is also applicable and travels into the non physical realms where we can experience just a taste of life beyond the physical, perhaps life after death. When we have an out of body experience, that curiosity bubbles to the surface, driving us deeper into these often mystical realms. What about near death experiences? I have friends who have had NDEs, and I am fascinated to hear their stories. Many were non believers in the afterlife until they experienced it. These experiencers return and they tell their story through books, through interviews, through programs, through conversations. But then something happens. Now, maybe not to all of these experiencers. Well, actually, I should say maybe not yet. But those what ifs come to mind. It's our innate curiosity that surfaces. They've lived through these extraordinary states of the non physical through their NDE. And now perhaps they begin to wonder, can I reach this state again? But this time without the drama and trauma of dying first. My messengers tell me that once you've trekked into these non physical realms, you can find your way back by following your tracks. Those tracks are often subtle, yet they are there, and you can fine tune your non physical senses to locate those tracks and follow them once more. By using one of our driving forces, curiosity, we can explore. Curiosity is always running in the background, at least on idle, and it's ready at a moment's notice to re engage. Allowing ourselves to explore, to ask, what if, jumpstarts that curiosity and allows for the next first time moment to occur. Each round of what ifs begins and propels us onward. Our near death experiencers discover that they can explore the non physical realms at will. Now they can experience multiple once in a lifetime events. They're no longer stuck in that first NDE. They have moved on. That first time experience is still there, but now it serves a different purpose. It becomes the foundation. It becomes the first rung on a ladder, perhaps a ladder to enlightenment. It has become the basis for an expanded path in life. And that is how we keep the magic alive, one step at a time, driven by curiosity. So keep the magic going. Let your curiosity soar. Keep asking those what if questions and buckle up. Your life is about to get much more interesting. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Remember the importance of being respectful and kind. Everything begins with us. We can make a difference in this world. We can spread joy and kindness. Feel free to subscribe, share, comment, and like. Until next time, goodbye.